Hello, and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for today. Today we're reviewing Folklore, Taylor Swift's first 2020 album. It's pretty good, although it's pretty different from her previous work and her future work, it seems, and it's pretty interesting. It was a bit of a surprise release. She was supposed to be touring at this time, but due to COVID, that didn't happen, so she did an album instead. And as a result, it was only released a year after her previous album, Lover. This is the track listing, and these are the tracks I added to my playlist. 9 out of 16, just one song over half. I think this album is good, and I think it gets a lot better the more you listen to it. But on the first listen, it's good, but not anything incredible. You really have to listen to this album a bunch to get the emotional stuff and really enjoy the music to its fullest extent, I would say. Most of the tracks are alternative pop style, using a variety of instruments, lots of piano, some light guitar, and it almost always has some layered vocals. It's not usually solo. None of the tracks are particularly high energy, and the style of this album is very clearly slow, with the occasional sort of mid-speed song. And then ultimately, the big problem with this album is that some of the songs sound pretty similar to others on the album, and thus it kind of can get a little boring for some of them. Some of them aren't really stand out at all. They're just kind of flow. There were no singles off of this album, and my favorite song here, I probably got to go with the third track, Last Great American Dynasty. It's the most upbeat song on the album, I would say, and I appreciate the historical sort of subject of the song. I would also say that it's probably the least introspective song on the album and might be the least emotional, which might contribute to me liking it the best. I rank this album right in the middle of Taylor Swift's albums. I don't think it's as good as her really good pop rock style work, but it is certainly pretty good, and I think it's a lot better than some of her more not as good country albums. Although not as good is kind of subjective here. I just don't really like that style. Additionally, this album does not take the top spot from Best Album from 2020. That goes to the new Abnormal by The Strokes, which is just a really great album. It would be very difficult to beat that one. It's really just almost a perfect album there. Next up will be the sequel, direct sequel, 2020 sequel, released in the same year to Folklore. It's called Evermore, also by Taylor Swift. It's pretty good, follows a similar style, but there are some differences, so it'll be interesting to review. As always, stay minty.